Welcome everybody. Just warming up and getting everybody involved. We do have drivers available, and that will be racing this evening. Obviously, we have had some people away, and it is the beginning of the year, but nevertheless, we have a number of drivers on the grid this evening. We'll be looking to make sure that they're out on the track, and we obviously want to make sure that whatever we're streaming is going to be entertaining for all. Those of you that are joining us for the first time, we welcome you to the African Academy Online Racing. And yes, it's all about the drive this evening. And as I mentioned, we have approximately 7 drivers driving this evening. And we are looking forward to bringing you this championship that we've been running since last year. We do have a number of drivers missing, as I mentioned, but we're going to go into quali, and then from quali we will go into the second qualification, and then third qualification, and then who is going to be running the grid and driving at the moment. So we're all out and waiting. I see some of the drivers have already started to get out onto the track, and we'll be with them in a couple of minutes. So just be a little bit patient with us, bear with us, and we definitely will be bringing you this weekend's Grand Prix from Belgium. So as I mentioned, here on the track at the moment, as I said, 7 drivers involved, and nice to see Satman back from his vacation and also driving in the McLaren at the moment. Oh, sorry, in Mercedes-Benz, as I lost my way a little bit there, but nice to see him out and about on the track, as I currently mentioned. So most of the drivers are still, some of them still on vacation. However, we're grateful that we have 7 drivers this evening. Obviously, we are going to continue with the championship, so that's not going to hold us back. We have to continue because this is the Belgium Grand Prix, and as I mentioned to you, we have a number of drivers who have told us that they're unavailable. And one of them being Weza. He's unfortunately having to work this evening, so we obviously would love to have him here. So I know that he's watching the stream, so nevertheless to say, we will be waiting for his return for next week, but we will be continuing with this evening's event. As I mentioned, we've got about a 15-minute first quali round, and I'm sure that most of the individuals are going to make sure that they hit that number to see if they can bring themselves up. We've got 2 gentlemen that have internet problems, so unfortunately they won't be joining us, but I will say that obviously we'll be glad to have them back with us racing at the South African Academy Online Racing. So we are all in or to have the guys back with us and racing with us here at the South African Academy Online Racing. So I'm sure we'll be checking out and seeing what's going to be going down this evening. As I mentioned, right now we have the guys in on the practice track at the moment, and as you can see clearly, they are just getting themselves a little bit familiar with the track. They are in Belgium. Some of them have raced this track many times before, but I'm sure it's all going to be good. And as I mentioned, we cannot wait for them to put up the times so that we can see some of the great times that they'll be putting up this evening. So all good and well. Thank you for joining us. If you are joining us via the stream, what I will do is try and get onto the stream and ensure that we have a look around and just make sure that I am able to talk to you while you are commentating on the stream. So as I mentioned, I'm just checking it out now, making sure that everything's gone live. As you know, with some live broadcasts, sometimes it is pretty difficult to keep a track on what is going on. but I'm sure everything will be running as smoothly as possible. And I'm sure you're all excited. Nice to see Sackman's just put on a 1 minute 45. So, yeah, that's going to be the time to beat currently at the moment. And he is whisking around at the moment, making sure that he's going to be in the next round at the moment. So we will be watching that quite carefully and seeing to where he's going to be at that point in time. So nice to have you on board if you are joining us. Thank you for joining us. I will obviously just update some of the information on the stream at the moment and make sure that everything is well and about to be seen this evening. So thank you for showing, and it's great to have you on board with us. Unfortunately, it looks as though Staffy has crashed out, unfortunately for him. I don't think he wanted to go ahead there, but he lost it, unfortunately. So unfortunately, Staff retired, as well as Judge at the moment. So yeah, I see that it is 2 guys out currently at the moment. However, we will continue with this race this evening, and unfortunately, as I said, one of the guys out, or should I say 2 of the guys out already. So we'll be keeping it. Nice to have you back, Vino, for real. As well as, let's mention some names at the moment. Dylan, nice to have you on board with us this evening, as well as Springbok Gamer. Thank you for joining us, as well as David. That's TBN, which stands for Turbo and Bullets. David is the DW, and we thank you for joining us this evening. Also, as I said, normally we have 16 drivers, so we are a number of drivers short. But as I mentioned, most of the guys do come up and tell us if they have issues or if there are problems at the moment, and we have had a number of guys. So as you can see, Sackman puts on a 1 minute 45 as mentioned. Vino for real also putting on a 1 minute 45. So nicely done from him. And then Dylan, a 1:48. So that's great from him. And as you can see, Springbok Gamer on an outer lap at the moment. Maybe what we do is go down. Here's David at the moment. I'm sure he'll be looking to put on a quick time in the first qualification session, and obviously go from there. So we will be keeping a key eye on David, and there it goes, 1:44.17. A great time from David now this evening. Slightly faster than the Sackman at 1 minute 45. And then, as you can see, Vino Farrell in the McLaren, a 1:45.910. Dylan, a 1:48. So I'm sure he's going to be looking at what he can do to improve his times this evening. So we're pretty excited about this evening. As I mentioned, we do have a number of drivers not with us this evening. In fact, we have 10 drivers, 9 drivers that are not with us this evening. But I'm sure we're going to be pretty excited to see them when they do come back. And obviously, some of them have got some internet problems, and we're hoping to see them back very soon here on the South African Academy Online Racing. So last week, what an event it was down in Hungary. And I can tell you now, it was quite an amazing event. It was overall taken by Springbok Gamer. And then we obviously did see a very good performance from the guys that were driving. And I tell you what a tough race it was in Hungary, for sure. And then right towards the end, we had that rain session, so it was quite difficult for them. And obviously, David did quite nicely there, as well as I think it was Tix. Yes, it was Tix. He did very nicely, and obviously what a race that was. So here we are with Springbok Gamer. He's coming through for his first qualification time. 8 minutes and 25 seconds to go in the session. So they've got to keep it short and sweet, but obviously just ensure that they get a great time. And obviously, there you go. Second position overall. Nicely done, Springbok Gamer. 1 minute 45.374. So that is a fantastic move from him. And it puts him in second place on this particular round. So, as I mentioned, we're going into quali rounds where we have basically two sessions. What we need to do is just have a look at the geometry. What is fitted? So you can see Super Soft's fitted throughout this particular race at the moment. That's what they're on, and I tell you what, they are definitely going to be looking at what they can be doing in order to become the top driver at this event this evening. Just looking, we're on board with David, and I tell you what, an exciting little time there. He's just redone a 1:44.069, so that's a fantastic time from David. Well done there, and I'm sure that the other guys are going to be looking at how they can actually change this all the way up, and I tell you, we are looking forward to seeing how they are driving. So, unfortunately, we are missing Mr. LaRue this evening. I was hoping that he was going to be on board with us, but unable to make it. Yeah, it is disappointing. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, we do have some drivers that are away, and maybe we need to just have a look at what we're doing at this point in time. Just having a look at some of the commentary coming through at the moment. Maybe we have to re-look at some things, but at the moment I'm also a little bit disappointed in the turnout, but I mean that's the way it is at the moment. So yeah, sorry guys, this is not what I would like to see. And you know, one of the things we said right at the very beginning of this Grand Prix was, guys, let's have a committed bunch of guys, and as you can see, clearly shown, but we also have those individuals that are working, for instance, in Nigeria. So one of the guys obviously apologized, so we do have a couple of them. Oh, that was pretty close. Unfortunately, Dylan nearly lost it there, but he brought it back nicely. Great stuff from him. And just looking across the board there, you know, it is obviously important that we continue with the Grand Prix, and maybe what I should do, as mentioned, is shorten the Grand Prix down to 10 races, which is not what I want to do. You know, the idea is obviously we want to do the complete Grand Prix with all of them involved. Gives everybody a nice opportunity to look at the racing and obviously enjoy what's taking place. And you know, maybe what I will do is I'll have an individual contact with the guys and see what we're going to be doing going forward. Nice to have Fricky on board with us. Hasn't been in for a while, so that's also great to see him coming in. And obviously, we are trying out new things and going to new places as well. But I'm sure we will have it under control in the next coming races, where we are back to the numbers and to the people driving. As I mentioned, a little bit disappointing this round, but I'm sure we will pass it and bring it through, to be honest with you. I mean, the guys are champions that are with us this evening. They are really very much appreciated in having the guys here at the moment. So nice to have them on board. Yeah, Marius, we do have a legendary track, and I tell you what, we need to maybe look at postponing this one. This might be just an evening event, and we'll see how it goes, but it might be that we have to postpone. And the rule is, maybe what we need to do is have a look at the numbers if the guys are not here. But obviously what we try and do is bring the entertainment on, make sure that there is continued racing across the board for the guys, and you know, watching these events live. That's what it's all about. Unfortunately, I can't please everybody, but we do try and make it happen that people come and watch. And yeah, it is quite disappointing that this evening so many folk could not make it for various reasons. I mean, some of them were not their own. They've got issues, so I agree. You know, we obviously want to make it entertaining for everybody, and we definitely try and bring you the best of the best here on the South African Academy Online Racing. So out on the track with Vino for real. Let's see what type of or sort of times he can put up. He's got one lap on the Super Soft, so I'm sure he went in to go and tweak what he needed to do. Obviously, difficult track. You've got to be in the right place at the right time coming through there. We're directly on board with him at the moment. Let's have a look what he can do with this McLaren. I'll just so sit back and let's observe. So there we go, guys. You can see the best time there. Oh, done. Congratulations to TNP DW, which is David. A nice time in the Toro Rossi Honda at 1 minute and 44.069 seconds. Obviously coming in second there was Springbok Gamer in the Haas at a 1 minute 45.374, plus 1.305 seconds behind David And then nice one from the Sackman in the Mercedes. A great drive from him, bringing that back. So that was great to see from his point of view. Nicely done. So let's go into the second quali session now. And you can see 5 people in the session. So let's have a look to see what is going to happen in this particular session. So as you can see, most of the guys are on an outer lap at the moment, and obviously pushing as hard as they can. We're on board with Vino for real. Just behind him, oh, it looks as though it is the Sackman, and then just behind him is Dylan at the moment. So let's see what transpires here. Ooh, Vino for real going a little bit wide there. Let's bring this back into perspective. And there we go. We're on board with Dylan. He's just pushed himself into that second position. Obviously, Vino for real going off the track a little bit at the moment. We've got 12 minutes and 53 seconds happening right now. So let's have a look and see what's going on. So as you can see, we've got 7 guys that are in this race this evening. And as I mentioned, all respect to these 7 who've turned up today to race in the South African Academy Online Racing. Great to have them on board, and we need to obviously just celebrate and also give our support to these guys that have turned up for today's race. That's brilliant. So just at the moment, if we're looking down on the times that have just been put on, I'll tell you what, a nice time done by David. He's actually bettered his first practice time, and he's just squeezed a 1 minute 43.993. Great drive from him. Dylan's just a little bit off the pace. He's just coming, I'm sure he's going to come back there. He's just done a 1 minute 50. And Vino for real 156. Springbok Gamer still in. It looks as though Sackman has crashed out, unfortunately. But I am just going on board now with Springbok Gamer. He's obviously done a lovely time there, pushing himself into a position where he could come in. It looks as though Dylan is pitting. I'm sure he's going to be changing up some of his settings on that card to see if he can get it to go much faster. Somebody off in sector 3 at the moment, so unfortunately somebody out there, you can see for real also in the pits at the moment, coming through. So nice. Let's have a look at the time, as well as Springbok Gamer going in now to pit as well. And let's just pop out quickly to see this gentleman who just squeezed that 1 minute 43 seconds to see what he can push out, as mentioned right now. And definitely also into the pits. So all the guys in the pits at the moment. So let's just sit back and relax and see what else is going to happen at the moment. So back on board with Springbok Gamer at the moment on an outer lap. Let's stick with him at the moment to see what he's able to do. He's on the super softs at the moment, so we will be watching through to see what he's going to be putting up on the track right now. So here he comes through, start and finish at the moment. Let's see, and where does that put him? No, he didn't get a valid time, so let's see if he can do it again. And I can see, as I mentioned right now, on the super softs, so we'll have a look and see if he can bring something back at the moment. 4 contenders in there, looks as well. Vino for real out. And I don't know if that was retired. I will try and get back onto the live stream page just to see at the moment where that is coming from. I need to probably refresh at the moment. Oh, he's a little bit wide there, but he does come back quite nicely if I have a look and see there. So that's very nicely done by Springbok Gamer. Let's see if he can push that time. He is really trying to get a good time. A little bit of braking there, brake smoke coming out, but I'm sure he's going to hold this as tight as he can and bring it back into play. And let's see where he ends up. He's in the 3rd sector right now, and then obviously he's going to be going down. So it's basically a left-hander, another left-hander, and then down into a sharp S, a right into a direct, here we go, direct left-hander. Then through start and finish it. Here we go. Seems to have, does he have a time? Yes, he does. He puts on an incredible 1 minute 44.424. Great time from Springbok Gamer there. Nice comeback from him. He's now in 2nd position. This is quali number 2. And as we all know, we're going to go into quali number 2, and then it is quali 1, and then it is who determines. So normally what happens when we have the majority of guys in and about, they obviously then go on and qualify into the top 10. And at the moment you can see we only have 7 in the field. So these guys are making it through quite nicely into the quali rounds. And here we go. Nicely done by Dylan, by the way. Dylan's broken the 150 mark, and I think that was his full intention to do that. And it looks as though he's also, we're on board with him now. Let's see what he can do. Obviously, he's just got to keep it nice and tight and make sure that he keeps within the track limits in order to put up another qualifying round. So here he comes through. A little bit long on that braking, but he should get through now. And then obviously scream through to come through, and obviously so he has done it again. He's gone from a 150 to a 149, and now he's at 147. So hopefully he can come back and put up another screaming time to see if he can get down to those particular marks. So nicely driven by Dylan this evening. But once again, De Wit, wow, what a time, 1 minute 43. Obviously we're missing Wazzy at the moment. Wazzy is the current championship runner holder, but I did see that he has some issues and he won't be joining us for a while, so I'm a little bit sad about that, but we wish you all the best, Wazzy, and hopefully you can come back and drive with us as soon as you can, because it would be great to have you on board with us here at the South African Academy Online Racing. And just looking back, as I said, we're on board with Dylan at the moment, and he's put on a 147. I think Springbok Gamer is in the pits at the moment. De Wit, screaming time, and he's basically retired from the session. So these guys will definitely try to see if they can improve on that time and bring themselves into the forerunning position of holding that. So sector 3 off at the moment. Looks as though 9 seconds to go. It's down to 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that means that the session is now over. So a little bit more time just to see if Dylan can get through this sector. Slows down, brings it in nice and tight. Obviously he's going to pit and probably retire from the session, and then we will go into the main qualification. That's quali number 1 at the moment, and I'm sure that we're going to have this evening's event racing. Even though it's only 7 drivers, justice to these guys. Thank you for joining us, and it's always a pleasure to have you on board with us here at the South African Academy Online Racing. So there we go, De Wit putting on that 143, then Springbok Gamer the 144, Dylan a nice 147, great time from him, with all due respect, and also for Vino, for real, a 156, and then unfortunately that Mercedes-Benz AMG crashed out and did not manage to put a time in there. So hopefully in this round we can see who is in the last and final qualification session. So it is rain at the moment here in the Belgium qualification round. It's quali number 3, and let me tell you, 11 minutes to go at this point in time to see that we've got 4 candidates who can possibly put in a time to take pole position. So let's have a look and see who is going to be doing what. 2 guys scream out onto the track, and I'm sure they're going to be looking to see who is going to be the pole position holder at the Belgium Grand Prix. So many of the guys decided to keep on with the track, and at the moment you can see obviously they are definitely staying with the super softs at the moment. You can see currently with De Wit at the moment, his major issue is that he's stuck with the super softs, and in fact so has everybody else. So the rain is here, but not so much as to determine whether they should go to intermediates at all. So they are tending to keep it. I don't think the rain is of that detriment to push the car off the track. I see most of them are handling what's going on. So the rain is light, and obviously they'll be trying to get through these laps as quickly as possible before that rain starts to come down even more, and that's when it gets a little bit tricky and very, very difficult to drive. But I'm sure the guys will be looking to ensure that they stick with it here on the Belgium Grand Prix. So nicely done there, seems to have kept it within the pace of the car and how it should be driving at the moment. So nicely done there by De Wit. You can actually see himself pushing the car to the limits and making sure that he's well ahead of that already. format is, as we have mentioned, 3 qualification sessions, which is a full quali, and then basically it goes on to the race itself. So nicely done there in the wet. You can see Divitz just put up a time of 1 minute 46 seconds, so not quite as fast as in the second quali, but he's catching up at the moment. You can see a qualification time put in there of 1:47 by Springbok Gamer, as well as Dylan putting on a 1 minute 49.909. We're just waiting to see what's happening to Vino for real. Hopefully he can also put on a time, and he will definitely start off in position number 4 on the grid. So I'm sure he's going to be pretty happy with that, considering what we're going to go through right now. So yeah, great to see these guys taking care of business, making sure. Remember, the championship is still going on. I don't want to stop the championship at this point in time. You know, it would be unfair to the other guys, and I feel that these guys that have pitched up for today's race, even though it's only 7, it definitely does show that there is interest in the South African Academy Online Racing event. So there, the guys are going out at the moment. You can see Vino for real. We're on board with him now. Let's see how he's doing. And definitely a little bit of a slide there. Got to be careful. You can see how that car is going left and right. So he's finding it a bit tricky, but I'm sure he's going to bring that back. And you can see it's not easy out there. You want to try and get that time in as soon as you can. You can see how wet the track is becoming and how that car is sliding around quite generously at this point in time. So I'm sure Vino has got a whole bunch of horsepower under control, under his hands, and he's really trying to get that car to remain on the track. So it is very difficult at this point in time, a little bit slippy and slidey, but he seems to be, it seems to be off. He's in the kitty litter at the moment. He's off in sector 2, sector 3, but he seems to have it back in. So there is green lights flashing away, and let's see if he can get it back and get this car on track to being where he wants to be. So there is he is under yellow. Around about 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go. It seems as though he is pulling off to the side. I don't know if he's actually retiring. There is quite a bit of smoke coming out of the back of that vehicle, so maybe the mechanics need to have a look, but he has pulled it off at the moment. And let's see what is going to transpire. We are going to be watching a little bit of the guys, seeing where there are. Sackman's obviously there. There definitely is quite a few guys waiting to race, and nice to see that the guys have there. We've got about 3 minutes to go, and then we will bring you back onto the track and show you exactly who is taking that pole position. At the moment it looks as though it's De Wit, and then followed by Springbok Gamer, then Dylan starting in position number 3. So there is definitely an opportunity. We're hoping that it's going to be a dry race, but that will be determined in the near future. So if you are joining us via the stream, thank you very much for joining us. I see Weza has joined us. Thanks for joining us, Weza. Nice to have you watching the stream. I did mention that unfortunately you were not available. Thomas is in Cape Town, so he sends his apologies. He was not able to make it today. And then obviously I see we've got Ninja Jacques on. Thank you, Ninja Jacques, for joining us as well. As I said, this is not the norm where we have such a low grid, but unfortunately there are some issues at the moment, and a decision needs to be made what we're going to be doing going forward. But we do appreciate the guys that have joined us this evening. I mean, they are absolutely fantastic, and it's great to have them on board with us this evening. Just looking through the realms and what is going on. Whoops, I can see I've got a little bit of a problem with my controller. I better just take care of that, guys. So just give me a couple of seconds to sort that out, and then we will continue with the evening's events. So as I mentioned, 1 minute and 19 seconds to go, and then we'll start this official race. So here we go in the start for the South African Academy Online Racing. It is now the formation lap. As you can see, De Wit gets pole position, followed by Springbok Gamer. Then Dylan, nice one from him in third on the grid. You can see the guys all warming up the tires. Nice to see that it's going to be a race in the sunshine. Sackman also up in fifth place there. Fourth, I forgot to mention, is Vino for real, and then Judge, and then Staff in the Force India. So guys, we are going to watch a very exciting race here on the South African Academy Online Racing. So if you are joining us via the live stream, thank you for joining us, and I'm telling you, it's all about what's going down here in Belgium this evening. very nice to see the guys up and about and racing this evening. So we are going to be taking you through this 22-lap race. And obviously, as you can see, most of the guys are fired up and ready to drive here on the South African Academy Online Racing. So great to see them all ready and all ready to go. As you can see, the helmet of the Dylan there, as well as you can see there, we have Vino for real in 4th position. Sackman in the yellow helmet. He's going to make sure that he's going to be trying to drive his way up the championship table, as well as this gentleman who is driving for Renault this evening in the traditional green helmet of the judge himself. Then we have the Staffy ZAs. He's also wanting to make sure that he stays up and also pushes his Force India team and keep them in a strong constructors position overall. So nice to see the guys are ready to race here at the Belgium Grand Prix. So as we come back, you'll see lining up on the grid right now is De Wit, and there he stops, waiting for the green flag to go off and to see if he can maintain that position where he currently is. So we'll be ready to go in a couple of seconds. We're just waiting for the guys to spec up, and you can see at the moment that Honda driven hybrid is car number 96, which is definitely, and they're away, they're off. At the moment you can see it looks as though Springbok Gamer is going to be holding that number 1 corner. Is a bit of a session, a little bit off from Dylan as well as Vino for real there, but they are back on track. As well as you can see, we're just having a look there, we've got the judge down into, nice to see that Staff has pushed his way up to 4th position at this point in time. Looks as though we do have an overtake, and it's going to be the Sackman taking the inside line. Therefore, the Haas has to go a little bit wide, which is Springbok Gamer. And as you can see there, it was nice and clean. There wasn't too much action. It looks as though Staff has crashed out. Unfortunately, he is out of this race. It looks as though his front wheel has gone, and he was doing very nicely in 4th position there, but obviously lost control of the car. Now we go back on board with Vino for real. You can see 2 seconds off the pace, but I'm sure he's going to try and bring that back at the moment. Springbok Gamer, he is 1 second off the pace, and nice to see that he's closely following looks like the Sackman. Yes, it is the Sackman, and I'm sure he just needs to keep it. But as you can see, the number 1 driver at this point in time is definitely this gentleman, De Wit. He is holding the line and making sure that he is dominating in that top spot and number 1 position. Obviously, these cars are, there is no assists at the moment, so you can see very difficult to control, but the guys are really maintaining themselves in that position. And there he sets up a time of 1 minute 51.799 seconds for that first lap. So it is a little bit off the pace, but I'm sure for a first from a standing start, that was excellent work done by De Wit at the moment. Let's go back now to this gentleman who has not been with us for a little bit of time, and that's number 13, which is De Wit, which is the judge man himself. Unfortunately, we've already had a retirement in Dylan. Dylan has crashed out of the race, and I'm sorry to see that as well. So there's 5 individuals in this race at the moment. Who can do what? We're back on board with De Wit at the moment, making his way through this track and really making it look as though he owns it all the way. But nice to see this gentleman right behind him, and I'm sure he's not going to let any areas go to waste this evening. and that is the sack man himself. I'm sure he's going to be coming through and trying to catch David. As you can see at the moment, he is 1 second and 0.268 away from David at the moment. Not very much of a distance, so David has to watch himself, make sure that he keeps total control of that car. We're in lap number 2. Remember, there is going to be a pit stop anyway on this. We're on board now with Springbok Gamer, and I'm sure he's not too far behind. He's not too far behind the sack man at the moment, so I'm sure he's going to be wanting to try and make sure. So there we go. Springbok Gamer puts on the fastest time and the fastest lap at the moment, which is that 1 minute and 48 seconds. You can see he's going on the outside of, it looks like the onside of the sack man at the moment. So nicely done. He comes around in the inside, looking to get past him there. Nice racing from both of these drivers. They are keeping it clean, so that's great result. Making sure, and it looks as though the sack man is definitely ensuring that he's not going to give Springbok any distance. Springbok Gamer in car number 21 at the moment, so very nice job from him. He seems to have gone a little bit ahead at the moment, but I'm sure that the sack man is not going to give him an inch or two, and I'm sure he's going to be trying to get past him and continue to race extremely hard to ensure that nothing comes away this evening here on the Belgium Grand Prix. And they're all running super soft tires at the moment, I think. And let's just confirm that going down the individuals, what is fitted positions. As you can see, the sack man has come up 2 positions, Judge has come up 1, so that's great to see that. Stops at the moment, there is nothing but tires, you can see, and this is now the strategy game. You can see super softs, super softs, super softs, then softs. That is Vina for real as well as Judge. They were both on super soft. So 5 in this race at the moment left. Unfortunately, Staffy crashed out, and so did Dylan. So that race for them over. Unfortunately, they did not get through the first lap, and it just goes to show you how difficult this racing is. But nice to see the guys driving. I'm really a great tussle here between Springbok Gamer as well as the sack man at the moment. So always good to see these guys in a rival situation and driving as quick as they can. Just moving back and watching what's going on, and obviously seeing who is where and what position. So currently the championship is still being led by the Force India team. Wasi, he's still currently the leader. Unfortunately, he's unable to join us this evening, and we wish him to be back in the seat as soon as possible, but I'm sure he'll come back as soon as he has that opportunity to do so. And once again, we have Nesmax as well as Muna. Unfortunately, they are unable to join us this evening. And it's nice that we have international drivers such as Nesmax, but he's holidaying in South Africa. So it's great to have him back home, but we obviously are missing him in a big way. And then the Muna, unfortunately, no internet at the moment, so we're hoping that his internet problems will be resolved and he'll be back with us. And if I say to you, Gav Pig, also not available this evening. He's working in Nigeria this week, so we were hoping to have him on board with us, but unfortunately he couldn't make it as well. And then Donkey, we also had a note from him, as well as Weza. Weza working this evening, so he couldn't join us, but he is watching the live stream, so we do appreciate that from him. But we hope to see them back as soon as possible. It would be great to have him back in the seat, and I'm sure he will be back as soon as he can. So there we go, just giving you an update quickly. Lap number 4 on the Super Softs. Let's see how far they're going to go. Nice to see both these drivers pushing quite hard, and you can see there it is De Wit, a Springbok gamer, the Sackman, Vino for real, and he is in. Tick's not with us this evening. Unfortunately, he also could not make it this evening. That's Vino for real's partner on the McLaren side, so we were hoping to see him with us this evening, but unfortunately he was not able to make this evening's event. But you can see great driving from these guys, really owning this track here in Belgium, and I'm sure that they are definitely going to make a difference in this championship leaderboard. As you can see, some of the championship standings at the moment, it looks as though I can give you some results from last week, and I'm sure that our statistician who really looks after us, he basically has sent through the information for us, so we can go ahead and see exactly what that headings are and where we are when it comes to the standings in this particular series of racing. I'm just going on to see if I can see what the results were this evening. And Steph, if you are listening, yes, thank you very much. I do see that you have put on. It was the current standings are that Wazzy has 192 points, Nesmax 155 points, and then the gentleman who's leading this race at the moment, he's sitting at 133 points. So nice work from him. And then nice to see Springbok Gamer in 4th position. He's on 121 points. And then we have Weza at 119 points, Muna at 96 points, Gav Pig 61, and then as I mentioned, Tix 60 points there, Dylan 42 points, and then Denox, normally Lucas, he is on 38 points, Sackman 37 points. So this evening, that's definitely going to push him up the standings, as I mentioned. Vino for real. If Vino finishes this race this evening, he'll definitely be in the points and definitely be looking. He's on 27 points at the moment. So we'll have a look and see how that affects his drive at the moment. I see one of the drivers off, who is Vino for real. So Vino, you need to keep that car on the track because you need the points, my good man. Staff on 27 points. Blix and P, we haven't seen for a while. We were hoping he was going to join us this evening. He's on 15 points. And then Ronald LaRue, unfortunately not racing this evening. I was hoping that he was going to be on board. Oh, bit of locking up there, but does come back quite nicely. You can see that he's also on 14 points. And you can see Vino into the pits. I'm sure he's going to be having a quick repairs done, as well as a tire change possibly for him on lap number 6. Let's have a see, let's have a watch. Yes, that front nose cone is coming off and they're putting a replacement on there, so hopefully he's going to get out in car number 6 and get back onto that track. Nice pit stop from him, quite short but getting there. We have the Judgeman also on 14 points, Thomas on 13 points, and then we still have Ivan, who has been replaced as a driver here. Stratum Ivan, he's been replaced, so yep, it's all good and well, and he's also on 12 points at this particular event. So just bringing you back online, thank you very much for joining us. If you are joining us on the live stream, we appreciate it. And I tell you what, huge crash there from Dylan, unfortunately. So we do hope that he's back again in that seat very, very soon, coming through. And then obviously it's one of those opportunities that, unfortunately, I think there might have been a clash between Staffy and Dylan. I'm not too sure, but from what I'm seeing off the live stream, there has been some apologies given. And it's all about the racing, guys. You know, it's all about having fun. It's all about enjoying the events and what's actually going forward. So that was a huge crash that we apparently was going on there. So yeah, great to have you on board with us, and thank you for watching this event. Looks as though Springbok Gamer has moved into the top spot, but this means that it's a strategy from David. He's put on the mediums at the moment. So he's about 17 seconds behind. 7 laps now currently on that the Super Softs. How much further will Springbok Gamer go? We'll have to see now. But I'm sure he's going to be looking and thinking about a pit stop. Just putting it through. 8 laps done of this 22 race. Remember, we do a full qualification as well as a 50% razor, and that's basically how it works. So the guys normally get the opportunity to do 3 qualification sessions, and normally when it's nice and big, when we have a nice big group, that's the reason why we do that, because we get the guys into a position where they're able to work themselves up that ladder to ensure. Now this is exciting. We have Springbok Gamer who's just gone into the pits. Is he going to have enough time to put on his new tires and get out there before the VIT comes in? You can see 17 seconds going down. He's putting on, it looks like softs. So he's going to be ready. Yes, he's out and away. Where is David? David has just passed him down the lane, as well as Springbok Gamer comes into second position. So he's going to go through that, so directly behind him now, and it looks as though Springbok Gamer has come out in third spot. However, it looks as though the strategy from the Sackman was to ensure that he put on super softs. At the moment, you can see how close this is at the moment. Here is the Sackman, and there is Springbok Gamer. So that distance between them is really in breathing distance of one another. So that's great driving and a great strategic position from these guys. Lap number 8 is this gentleman over here on these particular tires, which are the softs. Looks as though Vino for real has put on some mediums, so he's definitely about and trying to keep himself ahead of the pack at the moment. He's done 2 laps on these tires, and that is this gentleman here, as mentioned, which is Vino for real. And I tell you what, that 5th spot is being held by him. Here in 4th spot is the judge man himself, and nice to see him back from a long break in that particular car. So his teammate also being missed, which is Devon this evening. I don't see why he's not here. I didn't see anything, but maybe I missed a message of why. But nice to see Sackman puts on a 1 minute and 47 seconds. So this gentleman has definitely now put on the fastest lap time of this race on those super softs, and I'm sure he's not going to hold up. He's going to continue to try and drive and get himself into a position where he can look at putting some sort of pressure on that driver in front of him, who is David at the moment. So he will finish on this race, he will finish in 2nd on the podium. I know I did mention that maybe we should actually let this race be, but I think it would be unfair to the drivers that have pitched up this evening, and I think that would not be fair to them. So I reckon we should just continue, and the championship must go on, and the guys need to be present when it comes to these events. So Nice to see the Sackman doing extremely well, trying very hard to maintain that position as it currently stands. So great drive from them, and always good to see what these guys are capable of doing. You can see not too far away is David, and nice to see that pressure coming through from the Sackman on David. That's great to see this driving. And if we go on board with Springbok Gamer, he's basically 5 seconds behind. And I don't know if it's because of the soft strategy that he's got going on. Remember, at the moment, they have had a couple of seconds on these. Those are the sort of the times there. You can see the Sackman pushing up that 1 minute 47 seconds. So he's basically owning the quickest lap of this race so far. And I tell you what, he's done it very nicely in that Mercedes-Benz. Just having a look at fastest laps, details on the tires. Here is the telematics, or the telematics, and I'm just having a look. He's obviously got that energy saving on Springbok Gamer. Let's just push our way up to this gentleman here, Sackman, at the moment. You can see all good and well from his point of view. The Vit slightly in front of him at the moment. Seems to be holding it quite nicely, even his way around this track, doing extremely well to make sure that he maintains it. That's what he's got to do. He's got to make sure that he's catching the Vit at the moment. The Vit in that top position, and currently looks like he's steaming his way to taking the Belgian Grand Prix. It's a very nice job from him at the moment, looking where he is positioning himself, and you can see there it is, a little bit tight, coming around this corner, and then flat out. Oh, he's lost it a little bit there. Here's the DRS sector. He's missed out on that DRS sector because of that slight little error there. But I'm sure, let's not stay too long on him because I don't want to jinx him. The Vit going up the hill at the moment. Here he comes in, DRS on. However, I don't think will be able to use the DRS because, and then down into the 50 mark. Nice turn to the right, to the left here. Very nicely done. And then basically to the right again. Then we've got a long loop coming around this. There's the 100-meter board coming through and then pulling nice and tight. He's in third gear at the moment, pushing it down to fourth, fifth gear, tightly in, making sure just on the curb there, and then pushing his way down to sixth, into seventh, and then tightly in, down to sixth again, on the rev limiter to seven, and then straight up into the 50 mark board, down into fifth, coming around, pulling it now, holding it, accelerator off there, you can see that green bit coming here, accelerator off into fourth, and then pushing flat down fifth, sixth, and here we go. This is that long stretch that you can sort of get up to 8th gear, pull it in a little bit tight, and then all the way down into this sector. You can see we've just done a perfect lap with David. So nicely done by David, holding it together, and then second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and then under braking 150 meter and then turning in. So very nicely done in second gear, and then whizzing through the gears once again, getting that top up into sixth, seventh. Does he get into eighth? Eighth gear it is, and then pushing it down. So here we go. Springbok Gamer now into second position. Looks as though Sack has pitted. Where's he going to end up though? Let's have a look. Sackman coming through out of the pits. He's on the he's on the softs now. So those super softs looks as though this has pushed him, so he still has the fastest lap. Springbok Gamer just a little way in front of him. So nicely to see him coming through and doing his job. We're on lap 13 of 22. So that's going to be an incredible session, making himself move through these sectors and then pushing it on as fast as he can. So nicely done from his side, making things happen. Just watching and seeing where we are currently on this particular move. You can see very nicely done from his side, and there we go. Here we go, tightly in, pushing it through. A little bit out there, but nicely brought back from his side. Here we are on board with Sack. Let's push up to the leader of this race at the moment and see where he's coming through. Let's have that full view. Very good. You can see that white rim tires, which is the mediums. And there we go. Nicely done. Great point of view from that perspective. Really out there, making things happen from his side. And nice to see him pushing through there. So all good and well. So very nice drive from David at the moment. Really holding it together. Keeping a consistent pace around this track. Very nicely done. Even on his positioning where he is, he's certainly keeping control and nice control of this particular vehicle. You can see popping up there. All good and well. Definitely doing what needs to be done to stay ahead of the pack in this particular race. Also, just looking down the line, let's have a look now quickly at Springbok Gamer at the moment. Also very nicely done. He's now put on a very similar time. He's 5 laps on these softs. So compound obviously being very, very important. And then as well as you have the management of the electrical system as well as the fueling system at the moment. So very nicely done. Can he get himself into a shifting position? He's on setting 3 on the electrical side, which is pretty damn high. And 41%. Needs to get that recharge up. 38%. And then straight down now. Does he get relief? And does he relieve that? Let's go back quickly on to this gentleman. David at the moment. Nicely done. Well ahead of the pack. A little bit of brake, hard braking there. Running on the setting 2 of the electrical system. So here we go, Springbok Gamer. He's now pushed it back to 1. Conserving energy at the moment. Now this is interesting from the Sackman now. Waiting for that opportunity. He's going to look down there. Pushing it down. His charge is up to like 51%. So he has the ability to use if he needs to. Vino for real just getting a 3-second time penalty there for multi-warnings. But I'm sure that's... and let's have a look at him here. And then Judge. The Judge man himself. Keeping it together, steady away, 5th position at the moment. He's pushing the 150s. Nicely done from his side. So all buzzing around. Here we are in the year 2019. And you can see the season starting off with Hungary, now Belgium. As mentioned, we had 10 competitors in that race, and today we have 7 competitors. So I'm hoping this is not a trend. I hope we're going to change this around and turn it around and get most of the drivers back into F1. As mentioned, so here we go. Let's move up. A little bit of hard braking from Vino for real there. Here's the Sackman. Nicely done from his perspective. Holding it together. Here's Springbok Gamer. In second position currently. So is he going to become... Is this going to be the second time we're going to be seeing Springbok Gamer on the podium in 2 weeks? This gentleman is going to determine the position at this point in time, because he's currently leading the Belgium Grand Prix for 2019 here at the South African Academy Online Racing. Fantastic. We're just bringing you back up to speed. So who is the gentleman with the mic? It's Savvy is the guy with the mic, the guy who runs the South African Academy Online Racing, Mr. LaRue. So, lap number 17, not too far to go now. Down this, down to the end of this Grand Prix here in Belgium, and as you can see now, De Wit is 9 laps. It's just gone 10 laps on those tires at the moment, so very nicely done from his side. And I'm sure we're going to see Springbok Gamer as well as the Sackman, and this will be the first time the Sackman will be on the podium if he's able to maintain his current position. So very nice job done by these 3 drivers at the moment. Remember, unfortunately, Dylan is out of the race. He had a crash in the first lap. So if you're looking to find out there, Mr. LaRue says the driver of the day, Judge. I don't know. You tell me who you think the driver of the day is. You are the guys who actually judge who is the driver of the day at the moment. If I bring you back to De Wit, I think he's done an excellent job of this particular drive under the conditions that he's had, as well as Springbok Gamer, another potential great driver. And here we have the Sackman, yeah, with that traditional yellow helmet, doing exceptionally well. He's put on the fastest lap time. Yes, he did do it on super softs, However, it is definitely holding as the fastest lap time of 1 minute and 47.961 seconds. Vino's done an excellent job there, also maintained his position, and he's done 11 laps on those mediums. And then the Judge 03, nice to have him back on board with us. He's done some exceptional driving this evening as well, maintaining that 5th position. Unfortunately, Dylan and staff out of this race. However, very nice to see that this gentleman is back on board with us. We did miss the Judge himself. He's been away, but nice to have him back. So, as I can just mention, all the guys that do race here on the South African Academy Online Racing, we do appreciate you guys and the effort that you do on a Sunday night with us. Then, Mr. LaRue, this is really funny because you should have been in this race. Don't know where you are this evening, but you should have joined us. Would have been exciting. And you could have actually improved on your championship points. Yeah, throwing comments at me left and right. So, lap number 19 at the moment. And we go up to the leader of this race at the moment, which is David. And if we want to have a look at the sort of times that he's putting on, whereabouts is he at the moment? The leader currently is 14 seconds ahead of the next arrival, which is Springbok Gamer. And he's coming around now, and he's going to be lapping. Who is he going to be lapping at the moment? It looks as though he's going to be lapping the Judge. Yep, that he definitely is. All good and well at the moment. So, 13 seconds ahead on this particular 22 laps left. You can see David going exceptionally wide there around them. 13 seconds now. 13 seconds. The Sackman 32 seconds behind. Vino for real, 1 minute and 20 seconds. And as mentioned right now, the Judge man 1 lap behind. So, yeah, it's been a tough one this evening, especially for 22 laps. So, a great drive from these guys. All appreciative. And we hope to see the team back next week. And next week is going to be a difficult one, so we hope to see you back with us here on the South African Academy Online Racing to watch the next Grand Prix. We're hoping that majority of our individuals are back and willing to be a part of the next Grand Prix here at the South African Academy Online Racing. So, Springbok Gamer has just beaten the Sackman's time, and I'm going to give you that because that fastest lap that he's just put on right now is a 1 minute 47.721. So nicely done from him. Yeah, so David has done very nicely from his side. I tell you what, pushed up a nice 1 minute and 48, and it looks as though he's got just less than a lap to do this, and it's going to be him as the overall champion here in Belgium. So David, Nicely done from your side. Always good to have you driving here on this South African Academy Online. You're definitely going to push up your point situation. So that's great stuff. Always good. And 22 laps done in this Grand Prix. It looks as though Vet is going to finish off as the champion here in Belgium, followed by Springbok Gamer, who has definitely done and had a marvelous race. He's coming through now. Obviously, he's going to be ecstatic with himself because this is the second week that he's on the podium. The Sack Man, never been on the podium before here on the South African Academy Online Racing, so that's great for him because it puts him in a spot where he's going. But I don't want to miss out now because we're almost finished here. Let's go back on board with this gentleman. He will be finishing as the Belgian champion here this time round here on the South African Academy Online Racing. Back to winning ways, as some would say. So we're almost finishing up with this Grand Prix. Nice to see David driving so well. David also responsible for the Turbo and Bullets club, and they definitely have a good range of racing on Friday nights where they do 100% racing. So if you are interested in joining that, please get hold of David, and you can get that going down as well with him on a Friday night. So it's always good to have him. Then we have SAAOLR on Thursday night, so if you want to join us there. But let's just finish off. He has finished this race as the #1 driver for today here on the South African Academy Online Racing. And congratulations, David. Nicely done. Followed by Springbok Gamer, who comes through in second position. Sackman, going to be his first time on the podium in third. So very well done to him. Let's just follow it through, make sure that we have him on the final position coming through here. A great drive from the Sackman. Nicely done. He's as chuffed as anything. So very nicely done from his side. Oh, unfortunately, it looks as though the judgman out. But this gentleman, Vino for real, he's coming through the last sector. He's going to finish in fourth. So basically, four drivers finishing this race. Very nicely done, and thank you for watching the stream. Thank you for participating. Thanks for all the quirky comments, Mr. LaRue. Always good to see you on board. I was, as I mentioned, hoping to see you this week, but unfortunately you were not available. But thank you for watching the stream all the same. Staff, bad luck there. Hard lines for you. If I look at Dylan, unfortunately also for you. But there we go. We've finished, done and dusted the championship here in Belgium, the Belgian Grand Prix. Thank you for joining us. It's been great having you, and we'll see you next time here. But let's just watch the rest of this while the guys are basically just picking up the trophies. And obviously nicely done there. You see David taken away. Let me just put that on so you can see this all good and well. Definitely the Sackman. You can see Springbok Gamer, and then the top driver, David. Nicely done this week. So thank you for joining us. It's been great having you on board with us. We do appreciate all the time and effort. Remember, if you are looking to join us for our sessions, We do drive every single Sunday, and we enjoy having you on board with us. For all the support that we get on the stream, greatly appreciated. We also love having you with us, and thank you for all the quirky comments. And we'll see you next time here on the South African Academy of Racing. And we will see Thursday, SAAOLR, and then Fridays, as I said, TNP. That also runs with us. So thank you very much once again for joining us.